Hi guys, this is Harish, and welcome to another episode of the Work Logic. This will be a cricket special episode, and I'm joined by three other friends of mine, Achut, Abhishek, and Achintya. Hi guys.
Hey,
Hey,
hi everyone.
hi, hi.
So இன்னைக்கு வந்து this episode will be ஒரு bilingual episode. We'll be talking about cricket both in English and Tamil. So uh, please follow us. I'd like to venture into another topic or just touch where IPL returnships. Though there is time till October 31 for the teams to say, and நம்ம வந்து October 31 அப்புறம் around the Diwali time there will be another podcast also from the same channel. So எனக்கு என்னன்னா SRH have gone with a new strategy. So 23 crores they said, and 75 crores they are going to split, and no other team has done an official announcement, though there are some rumors. இங்க வந்து
I'm not that well versed in what all is there, so why don't you give me an overview and also to the
Okay, so
viewers who are
for
watching?
people like Achintya, let me say, IPL retentions வந்து என்னன்னா there's going to be a mega auction. So
Yeah.
for every 3 years there will be a mega auction. So the last mega auction was held in 2022. So 22, 23, 24 season was done, and for the 25 season we'll be having a mega auction. அதுல வந்து now the new rules have come out. It's a long list of rules. I'll have the highlights. What let me say. Teams are allowed to retain maximum of six players. Correct, Achut? Achut will correct me if I'm wrong. So maximum of six players, five capped and one uncapped player you can retain. So maximum of 79 crore purse is allocated. So the uncapped player will be for 4 crores, and the remaining regular players, capped players will be allocated for 75 crores. So நம்ம வந்து பண்ற five retentions will be, first player will be for 18 crores, then 14 crores, 11 crores, then the fourth player will be going for 18, and the fifth will be for 14 crores. So this will account to 75
So,
crores,
so if
and then
actually
one.
they have made a change to that rule,
Hmm.
so just sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt.
No, no,
So
it's
they have
No,
made
no.
a
for
So
change.
six.
continue.
No, for six
Continue,
players, if
Achal.
there are 75 crores, like what is the total purse then?
Yeah, total purse is 120 crores. From 80 crores, they have
One to-
made it to 120 crores per team.
Yeah, so they have
Like, is
increased
that
the
kind of
cost.
Hmm. சொல்லுவோம்.
okay? Sorry.
Hmm.
Is that kind of shitty? Like because for six players, 75 crores, for the rest of them only 50 something, no 45.
No, but you build your core for 70 crores. No?
ஆமா.
Four.
Because
Yeah,
if these
75
players
crores.
go
Like
into the
A cap
auction,
and not.
Hmm.
yeah.
Acha, acha.
Let's say like
So they
I think Hyderabad retained Klassen, right? So I think if he goes into the auction, he'll cost more than 18 crores easily.
Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
No,
So Archit,
like
continue.
going by their spending habits, I think Sunrise will only buy him again if he ever goes.
No, அதான் Sunrisers have released it where அவங்க வந்து they are retaining Klassen for 23 crores. இப்போ என்ன ரூல்னா அந்த 75 crores வந்து you need not do it with 18, 14, 11. அந்த 75 crores you can split it anyway. Hmm.
So now what SRH are doing is they are giving 23 crores to class, and that is what we heard as news. So 23 for class, and Cummins is okay to take a cut. So he took around 20.25. It was sold for 20.25, if I'm not wrong, or 20.75. I don't know. But now he's okay to take 18 crores for the team because he knows how important Klassen is. I'm not sure if he'll go for 23, but that's just me. But he'll definitely fetch more than 18 is what I feel. So Cummins just looks at the team and he says, okay, I'll take 18. So there is now talks of Cummins taking 18 and Abhishek Sharma for 14. So India, they have spent around 55 crores. So now there are also talks of retaining Nitish Reddy and Travis Head. So if they manage to retain them for 10 crores, or let's say 12 crores for Head and 8 crores for Nitish Reddy, they will be covering the funds within 75 crores. If Head
Is it
or
mandatory
Nitish
to
Reddy asks,
completely spend the 75 crores any
No,
which
no,
way
no.
or like?
so
நீ வந்து இல்ல
no,
see
uh,
டீம்ஸ் லைக் பஞ்சாப் வந்து இப்போதைக்கு என்னன்னா they are retaining Arshdeep for 18 crores, and they'll go with two uncapped players, Ashutosh Sharma and பேர் என்ன Shashank Singh. Those are the two uncapped, and
no, but
18
that
plus
was
8
not
எவ்வளோ?
his point. his point was,
What?
if you retain 5 players, do you have to
Hmm.
spend 75
Oh,
crores on
okay,
each
okay.
Ashwin?
புரிஞ்சு புரிஞ்சு இல்ல
So
இல்ல
the thing is, you can even spend 65 crores to retain 5 players, but on a first name you lose 75. That is the whole idea. So now let's say you're retaining Klassen for 23, Cummins for 18, Abhishek for 14. Then Travis said and Nitish Shetty also you managed to retain for 5 crores, 5 crores, but that is not going to happen. So let's say on the player you retain within 65 crores. Then for 10 crores, you still can't use it for anything. On the first lane, you'll be losing 75. That is the whole
Achha,
idea.
achha. So for the rest of the auction, you'll have like what are the 55 or 45 crores remaining. You can only use those.
So you'll be having the remaining first. So you'll be having around 45 crores. So அப்படின்னா, then you'll have one RTM of course to use it on an uncapped player in case of SRX. So what I heard is now they are going to mostly seal the deal on retaining Nitish Reddy and Travis Head. And I think that is the right call. If they are spending even more than 75, I feel they would, because if you look at Nitish Reddy, he's a talent which Indian team is currently looking at. They are sorting after fast bowling all-rounders. And he is someone who has impressed the selectors and even the fans in the recent series. So he will be going for hot takes if he's been released in the auction. And Adamari is not be easy to retain him by RTM. And if RTM, I think there is a new rule in the RTM. You can explain that rule.
new rule in RTM the uncapped player one oh yeah the
அது இல்ல.
இது okay புரிஞ்சு yeah so என்னன்னா two teams are bidding for a player வச்சுக்கோ say for example uh, someone like Bumrah is
R
going into
Ashwin
auction obviously he's not going so Bumrah
going.
வந்து
You can take
போறான்
R Ashwin. I think R Ashwin might
R Ashwin
realistically
yeah
go in.
so R Ashwin for Rajasthan releasing R Ashwin and R Ashwin is going to auction Chennai and RCB are bidding for R Ashwin ஸோ என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா Chennai and or it reaches a point where 5 crores the bidding has gone, and then Rajasthan comes with the RTM because they want Ashwin back. So 5 crore director they can bid for any amount they want. Say 8 crores, we'll give 8 crores to Ashwin, and we want to use the RTM. So if other teams are not willing to pay 8 crores, Ashwin will go to Rajasthan, and the one RTM option goes to Chennai. That is the point.
இல்ல இல்ல. So,
Hmm.
I think that was
Yeah,
not
like by
there in
this
the
logic,
actual rules.
a player capped at 20 lakhs will be there. So after that, only these guys will raise that thing for RTM or some bullshit, and then like you get what I'm saying. No, is there some minimum limit above which they can bid for
No,
a
no, no,
player?
no, no. No.
No.
So
He should
suppose like
also.
So, see, I'll
suppose
explain the rule once
suppose
again. You,
one player who was sorry bhai suppose one
yeah,
player who was paid 7-8 crores or something, he was released, but his base okay base thing is like 2
Hmm.
crore or something, base
2
whatever
crore.
the fuck
Hmm, hmm.
base price, yeah. So like just as his name comes up and people start bidding, if like they'll choose RTM, then so they can just buy him for 2 crores again,
No,
or
no,
do
no,
they
no.
have to offer something above their previous offerings or like whatever they bid
No,
for
no,
in
no.
last year?
அது
no,
it
no.
depends on the team. It's a wish of the team.
Yes, now
See, if
suppose
I
like Achut is being sold for 5 crore this year.
Hmm.
So next year, like he's released, his base price is 50 lakhs.
2 crores.
Just
Hmm.
as his
Okay.
name comes up, like suppose I am the team owner, or like okay, it'll be,
Hmm.
suppose Abhishek is the team owner. If he uses his RTM, he can buy Achut back for 50 lakhs again, or what?
No, no, no.
No, there should be a bidding, no, and bidding
Bidding.
முடிச்சிட்டா
Suppose
there'll
okay,
be
now
RTM.
Harish comes in with the first bid for 65 lakhs. Then he comes up with
Hmm.
the RTM for 65. Then he can buy Achut
RTM.
again. So
Ah,
he can buy
you
Achut for
can.
65 lakhs
Hmm.
again.
Yes.
See, I'll
So
explain
that
the
is
Like
the
rule
thing.
again once again.
how many of these kya?
RTMs. Yeah, I'll explain that. So basically, let's take the example of Ashwin itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's say CSK and MI are going to bid for Ashwin. Realistically, RR wouldn't bid for Ashwin. So if they are going to use their RTM. So and let's say CSK seal the final price for 5 crores, and RR wants to use the RTM on Ashwin. So in that case, according to the old rule, the player just goes to RR. So that was the old rule. If they use the RTM, they match the player for the amount and the player goes back to the old team. But now in the new rule, the team which was bidding for Ashwin, which put the final bid for Ashwin, let's say CSK, which bid for 5 crores, they get another option to put their final bid for any amount. So now let's say CSK bid Ashwin for 5 crores and RR use their RTM. Now CSK gets another chance to bid on Ashwin and put any amount. So they can directly raise it to 10 or 8 CR or any amount. And now RR will be given an option to use the RTM. So let's say CSK raise it to 8 CR. Then RR will be asked whether you are okay to match Ashwin for 8 CR. And if RR says yes to that as well, they take the player. If they say no to that, CSK takes the player. That is the whole idea. And regarding the RTM for the other team, I think that was not in the official website of the IPL. That was circulating in some meme pages, but I don't think that is official. We just have to find that out in the auction. So this is the RTM rules. I think now you are clear. And regarding the RTMs, so basically you have 6 retentions, right? So you will be having maximum of 5 retentions and 1 RTM. So let's say you don't want to use 5 retentions, you can do 3 retentions and 3 RTM. So it will be like either 5+1 or 4+2, 3+3,
So is the
or two
uncapped
plus
player
four.
not counted as a retention or?
So
Retention
you
now.
can use the uncapped on retention or RTM. So let's say if you have retained 3 players and you have 3 RTM cards. In the 3 RTM cards, you have to use 1 RTM on an uncapped player. You can't use the 3 on uncapped players.
Okay.
So in the 6, you have to use at least 1 for an uncapped player. That is the rule. So if you have retained 5 capped players, let's say SRH, they will ideally be retaining 5 capped players. So they have to use their RTM only on an uncapped player. So that will be the challenge for SRH. We'll anyway go to that little later. So that is
भाई
the basic rule.
वो CSK का अनकैप प्लेयर कौन है पता है क्या?
Yes. उतना उतना
हम्म
पता है भाई, उतना तो देखा. What are your thoughts on that? On seeing our uncapped player on
Strawberry
the
farmer.
team again.
legendary. He's a legendary uncapped player.
Straight from the
Okay, so
Legendary
farms of Ranchi.
Mohit Sharma is also a legendary uncapped player, just for your
Uncapped,
information.
yeah. Vijay Shankar is another uncapped player.
3D player.
Certainly 3D uncapped.
3D.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
would be
Yeah,
So like,
retention for
how is
CSK?
Vijay Shankar coming back as an uncapped player?
The rule is for you to be an uncapped player, either you shouldn't have represented India at all, or your last game should have been 5 years before.
last international game.
Last international game should have been 5 years before. So Dhoni played his last game in July, right? July 2019. It's been 5 years. So he's
Oh, so
also Vijay
specifically
Shankar.
for him only they made the rule, or
Probably. Probably.
because no
Specifically
one
We
for
don't know.
else comes this close to the deadline, no?
Hmm.
Vijay Shankar,
Probably.
you can count him also. He was also part of the
Vijay Shankar.
2019 World Cup.
Hmm.
तो ऐसे तो कोई
So
भी आ
yeah.
सकता है, द्राविड, गावस्कर, कोई भी भाई एक मैच दे दो वैसे टाइप का. और ऐसे लाइक सोसाइटी में आते ना, वो
You
अंकल आते ना, भाई 2 बॉल खेलने दो, वैसे टाइप के लोग
But
आएंगे
they
ना.
are retired. That's
see,
the
yeah,
issue.
retired. No, you shouldn't have been retired.
अरे
Officially, you
धोनी
shouldn't
भी
have
कहा,
been retired.
धोनी ने तो
No,
वीडियो बनाया
he
भाई
is
10
not.
मिनट का रिटायरमेंट वाला, फुल
Nah,
बैकग्राउंड
nah, nah,
म्यूजिक के
nah.
साथ बनाया भाई.
But he's
That
still
is from
playing
international cricket.
IPL.
Domestic, no?
Hmm.
अच्छा
IPL.
अच्छा.
Okay.
I mean, it's not
So,
retirement if you've never played in the IPL, no? So Gavaskar or someone can come comment for a match or two.
okay, so Abhishek asked for the CSK's retentions. So I'll ask Abhishek himself to name the 5
Yogaraj
retentions.
Singh would come against specifically for using this uncapped player rule.
Right. சொல்லு
எனக்கு ஐடியா இல்லை, நீ
Abhishek.
சொல்லு. அதான் கேட்டேன் நான்.
For me, the ideal thing would be Rutraj.
18.
Rutraj 18, Patirana
I
14,
mean,
Dubey
if we
11.
don't have the 18-14 concept, I was just
Hmm.
explaining. See, if now they
Hmm.
can retain
ஆமா.
Dhoni as an uncapped player, but they can give even
Hmm.
20 crores to Dhoni. That's the
Hmm.
idea.
ஆமா.
Actually. You will just lose
Also,
4
like
crores from
in the
your
75 crores, you can divide it any which way to give to the five or six
ஆமா
players.
yes 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 yes
75 if you retain 5 capped players. So if you retain an uncapped player, you using only 4 crores. So if let's say we are going to retain, okay, you just give your thoughts on whom you are going to retain first. அதுக்கப்புறம் I just explain.
நானா
Yeah.
நான் சொன்னேன்.
ருத்ராஜ் ஜடேஜா பத்திரானா துபே and Dhoni 5 players.
Dhoni, of course. So
RTM.
you are going to
RTM
retain 5
RTM will use on Conway.
Conway. Okay.
Hmm.
So if now he is going to retain 5 players. So if you look at the 5 players, 4 players are capped and Dhoni is uncapped. So
Uncapped.
if you look at the
Is
normal
there a
split,
limit on
18 crores.
the overseas players or what? Or like all four can be
No,
overseas? Like
all 5
Yeah,
can
yeah.
also be overseas. So that is a rule which
Overseas.
was there before. They have removed that rule. So this is a rule probably favoring teams like, let's say, an SRH, because they have
Hmm.
more foreign players than Indian players who are worth retaining. Let's say, put it like that, because they have been part of the finals. We just can't call them like not a good team. They have good team, but mostly heavily reliant on their foreign players. So if now, since you called out the retention for CSK, ideally if any Sonia retention orderly if we keep, do you think
Hmm.
they're going to give 18 for Rutraj? Because what my
ருத்ராஜ்
perception is,
வந்து
I think இப்ப என்னோட perception என்னன்னா they will go for 5 retentions, but if there is not necessary to give 18 or 14 or 11 because
ஆமா
there is this
கரெக்ட் தான்
split thing.
பட்
So
அப்படி
what
இருந்தாலுமே
they'll
நீ வந்து நீ இப்போ சொல்ற அவங்க வந்து 70 இப்போ இதெல்லாம் கலந்து வந்து 70 crores தான் வராங்கன்னா எப்படி இருந்தாலும் உனக்கு அந்த 5 crore வேஸ்டா போகுதுல யூ வில் நாட் டேக் தட் 5 crore டு தி ஆக்ஷன் அதுக்கு வந்து யூ
No,
கேன்
I'll
கிவ்
split
சம்மன்
the
ஃபார் தி
money
ஃபியூச்சர்
within. I'll definitely split the money within those 5. So if now we are going to retain 4 capped and 1 uncapped. So if fifth player too, we'll get 14. But since Dhoni is an uncapped player, we'll get only 4. So if 75 and 10 minus paniko, we'll only be giving 65 crores, not 75. So என்னோட point என்னன்னா அந்த 65 I'll split it among those 5 such that whoever is like அந்த worth ஆன player I'll give them more. But Jadejaக்கு few people will question, is he worth 14 or 15 crores in a T20 format? But I
I
feel
think
he is, because
if it like comes down to it, I think we should just move on. Dhoni will obviously be there because the management can't keep kneeling down for him. Uh, but I think like Sandner deserves a chance or Jadeja. Whenever he's come on the pitch, he has performed.
பட்
overseas, I
ஓவர்சீஸ்
think the
ஆப்ஷன்
friends
Like this is like ideal. I'm telling. Rachin
ideal.
Ravindra will obviously be there.
I think
He'll be
he'll
retained.
definitely be there. Now after this game, they'll definitely look at Rachin as an RTM
Uh,
option. I don't.
yeah. Like
Santner,
who
I
I
would
else is
don't
actually
there?
know.
take
They are not going
I
to
would
retain
actually take
Santner.
Rachin ahead of Jadeja
Jadeja.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
in terms of
this
retention or RTM.
retention.
I think in
ஆனா அது
T20s, Jadeja is past his time.
Past, yeah. See, I understand all the sentiments, but if you look at the emotion standpoint and what probably the CSK management will do is they'll put Jadeja's name as the first player. I'll guarantee you that. And they'll go after Rutraj. So I
Yeah,
understand your
I
point as
don't
well.
think the management is that much invested in this because they kicked out Raina bhai, and he was way more important than Jadeja for the franchise.
No, that was different
That was
because
a
Raina that
personal
year
That is
issue.
that is
Yeah,
that is
but
different. But in terms of
totally.
emotions, driving decisions, there is no team better than CSK. If you ask me, we spent
CSK.
14 crores on Deepak Chahar. I know he did pretty well,
Deepak,
but 14 crores,
again
zero returns. And
no
just when the
again
auction
he'll
is
be
near, he's performing really well. So I'm thinking they might go again, do something. They spent 10 crore. I
so
think
there are like
they
5
spent
retentions and 1 RTM, right?
yes
in
yeah,
total 6. That combination can be anything. It can be 4 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 3 plus 3, whatever.
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
But like 6 chances you have to
Six,
retain a player.
six, yeah.
Yeah.
6
See,
chances not to
RTM
mess
is
up
not some. Yeah, RTM is something which is not like you are going to use it on one player. You are going to keep your options open on 2 to 3 players and see whom you are going to get for the best trade. Because let's say,
yes
according to Harish's retentions, we are going to retain Dubey, Patirana, Jadeja, Rutraj, and Dhoni. So
Dhoni.
for RTM, we'll keep our options open on Conway or even Rachin Ravindra, or I wouldn't be surprised if they keep their options open on, let's say, a Deepak Chahar or a Tushar
I will.
Deshpande.
Yeah, yeah. I'll add one more point also. It's always been a mystery around Dhoni. Suppose, in case if he is not available for the next IPL, ne vechupo. Okay, yeah. Suppose
Okay,
in that
okay,
in place of that uncapped player, the 5+1, the 5+1 RTM, la, I'll go with five capped players. I'll include Conway and Rachin. I said one RTM is Conway, the other will
Yeah,
be
like
Rachin.
Conway.
if you're looking at overseas players, I would like Rachin Ravindra and one between Conway and Daryl Mitchell, like one of them. Or Sandner also. Sandner is like my, okay, I have a soft spot for him. By he has always
Nearby
performed on the pitch,
Sandner.
but he never gets
See,
his dues.
Sandner he's a part of CSK since 2018.
Since
2022
80.
auction they released him again cheaply. They got him back in the auction.
Uh,
Because of the lack of game time he has in IPL. No, probably there's a bigger chance for him to again be available for a cheaper option, and CSK might get him back. So Conway, Rachin Amendra, these are all the hot
Yeah,
properties
if I another
for.
point for Conway also will be the same. I feel there will be more foreign openers available who are having similar skill set to Conway. So I feel someone like Conway we can get back for cheaper rate. For Rachin Ravindra, I can understand because he's an all-rounder. If you look at the foreigners who are probably going to outsell in this auction, they are mostly going to be foreign all-rounders and foreign bowlers. Foreign batsmen, you are probably going to have plenty in the market. I'll give it to you that. So என்ன பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் I think Conway you have to also analyze the purse. If you're going to do five retentions and also going to let's say RTM Conway now, you're losing close to 80 crores. So you only have
Hmm.
40 crores to buy probably around 20 players. So that is
ஆமா
like effectively around 2-3 crores தான் ஒரு பிளேயருக்கு. You
ஆமா
can
ஆமா
only get maybe one or two big players and then you have to get a
ஆமா
lot of fringe players தான். And that is
ம்
not an ideal strategy because see, we have not won the team in the last year. I understand we won it in 2023, but few of the people are like they are not fresh legs. They are just gotten old. And நம்மளுக்கு வந்து few haven't worked out. Like Daryl Mitchell hasn't worked out for us. And Santner, I mean, I'll give credit to Santner, but he has not been someone who was part of the CSK like legacy of contributing and winning games. அது வந்து it's not his fault, but he has just not been fortunate to be part of this setup. Maybe வேற ஏதோ teamல he'll be part of that setup. But we have always favored Jadeja and given him the frontline chance. So அதே மாதிரி இருக்கச்சு we didn't have the necessity to play Santner. So அதே மாதிரி players I wouldn't retain personally. If you are going to retain, he has to have that value in the market. If you look at Patirana, he is like one special kind of a bowler which you are not going to find many in the auction. And Dubey, for the aspect that he is an Indian all-rounder. I mean, I understand we are not going to probably use his bowling skills, but அவனுக்குன்னு ஒரு வேல்யூ இருக்கு டூபேக்கு. And Jadeja,
வேர்ல்ட்
I
கப் வின்னர்
understand your
தம்பி வேர்ல்ட் கப் வின்னர்
அதேதான்
என்ன
அதேதான் அப்ப
அது
I
இப்பதான்
would
ஜடேஜா
retain for
ஜடேஜா
Jadeja.
கூட வேர்ல்ட் கப் வின்னர் தான். But if he
ஆமா
goes in
ஆமா
the
I'll
auction
say that.
pool, do you think someone will pay
Uncapped
40
player,
50 crores?
ஆனா
மூணு வேர்ல்ட்
ஆனா
கப் ஜெயிச்சிருக்கான்.
இன்னொன்னு சொல்லவா ஃபார் மீ எக்ஸப்ட் ஃபார் ருத்ராஜ் பத்திரானா அண்ட் துபே
Dubey. No one
அதர்ஸ்
is.
ஆர் ஆல் இல்ல அதர்ஸ் ஆர் ஆல் கொஞ்சம் ரீப்ளேசபிளா என்ன சொல்றது இப்போ மும்பை
Hmm.
எஸ்ஆர்ஹெச் கேகேஆர்லாம் நீ பார்த்தனா தே ஹேவ் தி ஃபைவ் ஸ்ட்ராங் பிளேயர்ஸ் ஹூ கேன்
Five.
நெயில் டவுன் அண்ட் சே இதெல்லாம் ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ணிடலாம்டா கண்டிப்பா அப்படின்னு
More than
பட்
five, in
சிஎஸ்கே
fact. Problem of plenty.
ஓகே
They have
கரெக்ட்
Uh,
பட் எனக்கு வந்து சென்னைக்கு வந்து அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராங் ஃபீலிங் வரவே இல்லை இந்த இப்போ சொல்றேன்ல நம்ம வந்து இப்போ யோசிச்சு தான் ஓகே ஜடேஜா இப்போ நான் வந்து இஃப் ஜடேஜா இஸ் நாட் அ பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஜடேஜா தோனி ஆர் நாட் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த சிஎஸ்கே நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர்னாலும் ஐ வுடன் பி வெரி என்ன சொல்றது ரொம்ப ஐயோ
Enthusiastic.
கோயிங் டு பி அ பிக் மிஸ் நான் சொல்ல மாட்டேன் ஏன்னா ப்ராப்ளி ஜடேஜா இஸ் ஆப்வியஸ்லி குவாலிட்டி பிளேயர் தோனி இஸ் குவாலிட்டி பிளேயர் பட் ஐ திங்க் நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி தேர் பாஸ் தேர் பிரைம் தேர் பாஸ் த டைம் இன் த T20 ப்ராப்ளி யூ கேன் கெட் someone even younger or someone even more dynamic அந்த மாதிரி சொல்ல இப்போ வந்து இஃப் ரிஷப் பண்ட் இஸ்
I
அவைலபிள்
think
டெல்லி ஆர்
Jadeja
ரிலீசிங்
has a. Okay, sorry. I interrupted you.
ஜடேஜ்
You go.
இப்போ ஐயோ ஜடேஜான்னு சொல்றேன்னு ரிஷப் பண்ட் இஸ் அவைலபிள் இன் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் இன் த ஆப்ஷன் அப்படின்னா ப்ராப்ளி சிஎஸ்கே ஓன்ட் மைண்ட் லூசிங் தோனி even though the legacy எல்லாமே தாண்டி you're getting something, you're getting someone young, you're getting someone dashing, okay, you're getting someone என்ன சொல்றது ஒரு ஒரு
in a car
நெக்ஸ்ட்
accident.
லெவலுக்கு எடுத்துட்டு போற ஒரு player.
CSK
ஏய் கஞ்ச
ideally would
சும்மா
like to have both. See, I would
ஆ
add to that point. CSK ideally would like to have Rishabh, not Rishabh Pant, someone who's young and who can take on the shoes of Dhoni. Not necessarily to replace him entirely, but at least in the keeping aspect. Because now we have a captain in Rutraj. Yes, he has not had a great captaincy stint in his first season, but it's just one season. We can probably give him another season chance and see how he fares. But to replace Dhoni shoes as a keeper, I feel CSK might go for someone who's a like renowned keeper. Let's say I feel
ஆமா
someone like Ishan Kishan might come into the option. I don't think MI will
ஆமா
be having the
ட்ரூ
luxury to retain Ishan Kishan. So CSK can just pick Ishan Kishan and have Ishan along with Dhoni and just train him for the next season because we know for sure that Dhoni is not going to continue beyond maybe let's say this year. So someone like Ishan might be like a good addition. And if adding to your Jadeja point, I definitely feel the management will not be thinking like that. See, if this is just probably 1% fans who are
ஆமா
probably going to think like this. Even majority of the fans will want Jadeja, and அந்த ஒரு emotional connect always இருக்கு. நம்ம இத மாதிரி whenever
ஆமா
we write off the players, they always do something special. We saw that in 2023. I
ஆமா
understand his skill set in 2020 has dropped now, but you can't write off someone like Jadeja or even let's say even Dhoni. I
If you
understand he's older.
suppose if you remove all emotions, all skin, everything you have for the team, what is your ideal, logical, rational opinion like on the six players? Who would you retain? Suppose Dhoni is not available on the off chance he's not there for the next year. Who would be your uncapped player? Who would be your other five? Like just logical
I'll
as picks.
logically I'll
No
still
emotions, no
retain
nothing.
Jadeja. See, I'll still retain Jadeja because he's a premium all-rounder. You don't have premium Indian all-rounders in the auction. Not many teams are going to release players like, let's say, an Akshar Patel or Hardik Pandya, or we are even talking about Nitish Reddy, who's going to be potentially retained by SRH. So there are not many good, genuine international all-rounders, Indian all-rounders available in the auction. So I'll definitely retain Jadeja. Uttara is a no-brainer because he's been captaining the team and he's been
கேப்டன்
doing wonders for CSK in the last 3 to 4 years. And even Shivam Dubey, he is an Indian player. See, if you look at the auction dynamics, Indian players are going to go for the money. So retaining an Indian player for whatever amount is going to be valuable, especially if he's going to be featuring in your 11 every game. So these three are like a no-brainer retentions for me, regardless of emotions or sentiments. And Dhoni, I mean, if he is available and if he is available for 4 crores, I mean, he is a no-brainer. But since your point of Dhoni not being available, I'll probably just not use my uncapped retentions. I'll just use my uncapped on an RTM
கேப்
because
ம்
I don't think I'm going to see someone like Samir Rizvi go for more than 4 crores. Because if you retain him, you have to give 4 crores. You're not going to see Samir Rizvi go for 4 crores in this auction. Similarly, Hunger Gaker, there are a few options, Simarjeet Singh. So I can use them as an RTM option. So I'll just retain these three. And probably I will
பத்திரானா
take the gamble of Matirana. Yeah, maybe I'll retain him because I think he has the X factor of bowling with the sidearm action. The only concern is his
So,
fitness.
so suppose you have four picks, right? Three Indian and one
Four
overseas, and
for it.
like you keep for
Yeah,
two RTMs. So,
yeah.
like for the overseas, who will you pick between Patirana or Rachin Ravindra? I think, in my opinion, I think Rachin Ravindra trumps him based on the performances. No?
Performance.
Or
Yeah,
like,
I
what is your
understand that.
opinion on that?
So Patirana, I mean, that is especially. I mean, if you look at the recency bias, obviously now people will be starting to think about Rachin Ravindra. But Sachin Ravindra is like a spin bowling all-rounder. Basically, you are going to have various spin bowling all-rounders in the auction. You just mentioned Samson. He is just another player similar to Rachin. Maybe not a quality bat as Rachin, but he's a better bowler than Rachin Ravindra, definitely. And we are going to have more players like that in the auction. So, I mean, I'm not disregarding Rachin Ravindra totally. He'll definitely be in my RTM list. And I personally feel he's not going to go more than 10. 10 crores. It's just what I feel. Patirana is also someone I feel is not going to go more than maybe 10, or maybe he might go to like around 15. But that's it. Because see, even foreign bowlers, there are going to be a lot of bowlers. We are probably going to see Stark again. That will be very surprising, but that's the truth. KKR is not going to retain Stark. So there will be a lot of foreign bowlers also available in the auction. But Patirana has
Who do
done
you
a
want?
lot more.
Like, what would you want your? How do you want to line up your bowling
Pitching
attack? Because since Deepak has injury and since we left Josh Hazelwood, I don't think we've had a good fast bowling
fast
lineup
bowler.
since then. Like,
See, they have to
Patirana
look
is
at
one
the
outlier,
aspect
I guess.
Patirana. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they have to look
except
at
him.
someone who has contributed for the team. So if you look at Rachid Ravindra, he has performed in the recent international games. But if you look at his contribution for CSK or his contribution in IPL, that will not be substantial. Yes, I understand he has played only 5 or 6 games. But other than பார்த்தேன்னா, I think Patirana has won and contributed more games for CSK. So I understand his injury concerns, but contribution to CSK, if you take in the 4 players, will automatically tick themselves. Are Rachin, not just yet, but he's definitely going to be my top RPM choice. I'll give it to you.
Mm.
If they have one RPM also, they are just going to go after Rachin or Conway. I mean, he mentioned Conway. I'll just see if I can get Rachin for less price, because Conway, I think I feel we can get players like Conway. Like there'll be a lot of options. Like just
Mm.
to name a few, I feel someone who's exciting for future prospect to Patana, Australia lens, there is this Josh Inglis. I think he's lighting Australian scene. And
India
Ben
pata
Duckett
Rian
is
Parag.
Rian Parag. I mean, I'm just talking about openers, but Rian Parag
Uh,
is probably going to be another
வாட் டு யூ
hot case.
ஒரு ஒரு
Rian,
ஒரே கல்லுல ரெண்டு மாங்கா மாதிரி ஒரு பிளேயர் வந்து குவிண்டன் டிகாக் வச்சுக்கோயேன். சப்போஸ் இஸ் அவைலபிள் இன்
Quinton
ஆப்ஷன்னா
de Kock. Hmm.
ஓப்பனரும் ஆச்சு, டச் பிளேயர் ஆச்சு, விக்கெட் கீப்பர் ஆச்சு, கொஞ்சம் லெஃப்ட் ஹேண்டட் ஃபாரின்
இல்ல
ஆப்ஷன்.
நான் வந்து ரிட்டென்ஷன் பத்தி பேசுறேன். நான் இன் ஜெனரல் ஒரு அந்த ஃபுல் ஆப்ஷன்லயே கேட்கறேன். இப்போ வந்து நம்ம வந்து என்கிடியை விட்டுட்டோம், ஹேசலோட விட்டுட்டோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த செஹரோட இன்ஜரிக்கு அப்புறம் நம்மளோட ஃபாஸ்ட் bowling என்ன கொஞ்சம் எப்பவுமே வீக்கா இருக்கு. பத்திரான ஒருத்தன் இருக்கான், ஆனா அவனும்
ஆமா.
இன்ஜர் ஆனா பாதி சீசன் போயிடுவான். ஸோ நீ who are you hoping to pick to like strengthen our fast bowling lineup,
No,
or
that
make
that
it
has,
a bit?
because see, since there are apart from Patirana, there are no other options. We have to pick it from the auction only. அதாவது ஒரு ஸ்கவுட் பண்ணியோ இல்லனா
We
வந்து
have to
மத்த
revamp.
டீம்ல ரிலீஸ் பண்ண. ஆமா.
See,
ஆமா.
if you look
In
at
terms
the
of
last
fast
year,
bowling,
we need to revamp, because last
Who
year
are you
one of
hoping
the
to pick?
reasons
no, that is
Who
very
do you
there'll
tough
be
to
a
want?
say
lot of
because
options. It totally depends on what each team retains and who they leave out. That's one aspect. And also looking at domestic, there'll be a lot of youngsters who are coming up. If now recently நேத்திக்கு நடந்த India A versus Pakistan A ல
Anshul Kamboj.
I just follow Anshul Kamboj. Yeah, I was coming to that point. MI will be now looking to retain him for 4 crores. He is going to be like one crazy buy if you can get him for 4 crores. Pavana, if I retain him for 4 crores, that is like the best value which MI can get. Imagine having Anshul Kamboj and Bumrah in your team. Are the 8 over set? And they have Hardik Pandya, let's not forget. So they have around 10 overs set in their retentions itself. So Adamari, they will be looking at. So there will be a lot of options in the option. Since it's a mega option, we'll be spoiled with options. We just have to pick the players who suit our team, who suit our conditions, more importantly. But shape of that, we have to look at good quality spinners. If an Indian spinner, we have Jadeja. But we have not had a good backup Indian spinner in the recent, like since 2018, we had Harbhajan. But Harbhajan Kapro, we had Piyush Chawla வச்சிருந்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் we didn't have one good Indian spinner. So அந்த மாதிரி they will try to look. An Indian seamer who can probably fill in the shoes of Deepak Char, or probably Deepak Char himself if we can get him for
ஆமா.
less price. இப்ப CSK பார்த்தேன்னா they will just go after emotions. We know CSK and they'll look to buy back
அதான்
players.
இப்போ என்னன்னா, இப்போ நீ வந்து லைக் ever since the match fixing ban and return, அப்போலேருந்து நீ பார்த்தனா அதுக்கு முன்னாடியும் நீ பார்த்தானா like we'll buy youngsters and all, but then we won't use them only. So even if we for our pace attack, if we go for like good youngsters, I don't feel like we'll play most of them in the playing 11, right? Like I don't think there'll be many chances for the youngsters. So regarding our current stock of pace bowlers, who do you think they will retain? Or like I don't think we can put our faith in the management to bring up the youngsters. I feel that's what I'm trying
I
to say.
mean, it is subjective because இப்ப நீ சொல்றது I understand during Dhoni's captainship
Same.
especially, he is someone who is going to play with the same team regardless of the result. That is what he believes in. So அத மாதிரி இருக்கச்சே you can't expect everyone to get chances. இப்ப last season we saw with Ruturaj, he made changes even in spite of winning games. That was something which was new to begin with. And he gave chance to a few youngsters. அவனால முடிஞ்சது என்னவோ he managed to give. He gave chances to Simarjeet Singh. He was like extensively part of the attack. அதுக்கு முன்னாடியே சிமர்ஜித்னா ஏதோ சம் டர்பன் கட்டிட்டு ஏதோ ஒரு மேட்ச் ஆடிட்டு அந்த மாதிரி தான் we knew. We didn't know much about him. So அப்படி இருக்கச்சே I think even like let's say Mukesh Chaudhary, he broke into the captain into the team in Jadeja's captaincy now. So
ஆமா.
now the captaincy has changed and Dhoni has given the freedom to Ruturaj. It's not like uh, Dhoni is still making calls. It is Ruturaj only making the calls. அது we saw that in the last season. So அப்படி இருக்கச்சே I think we will invest in youngsters. We can't expect everyone to get chances, but என்னை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் I think they will go for emotion. They will try to retain most of the bowling attack, and to mix up, they will definitely look to get one or two fresh faces from other teams, or like someone who didn't fit well in the other setup, who might probably fit well in CSK's setup. That is my sense. So I think with that I will end my.
என்கிட்ட கேட்டா சிஎஸ்கே like in regards to CSK, I have a bit of a pessimistic view. Like if you look at the realities and like their sentiments and all, in the six retentions they'll obviously have like Dhoni, Jadeja, and like the people we talked about, and we also don't have a good bowling attack. So if you all your retentions are in like Jadeja, Dhoni, probably Chahar, I don't think he's that good, to be honest. Like after his injuries he's
We
not
have
been that good.
Patirana. Yeah, see, we have
Yeah.
Patirana in our retention. He is going to be one main strength line bowler. We can always go for bowlers in option. See, I feel there are so many bowlers who are going to come up in option. If I Ketana, someone like a UZ Chahal is going to be one good buy. If CSK can manage to pull UZ Chahal or R Ashwin, even. I mean, I understand he's also old, but okay, let's say even UZ Chahal, he'll be a perfect fit in Chennai, if you ask me. Under conditions, leg spinner along with Jadeja. See, we still have to understand Jadeja is a good bowler in T20. Still a good bowler. So, Abdir Kache, Jadeja and UC Chahal in tandem. I mean, I'm just giving you one example. Fast bowlers, there will be plenty of other options. Someone who might be like an old guy, like இப்போ நம்ம மோஹித் சர்மாவை கலாய்ச்சிட்டு இருந்தோம். Last 2 seasons he has been doing so good. சந்தீப் சர்மா அதே மாதிரி. So அதுதான். So we have to find options within the option, and there will be plenty. And I
கேஎல்
feel
எந்த டீம்ல இருக்கான்?
Lucknow.
Lucknow. பட் இப்போ ரிலீஸ் பண்ணிடுவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் அவனை. ரூமர்ஸ் ஆர்
அது
தட்
நம்ம
he will be
எடுத்தேன்னா
released.
இப்போ ராணியை நம்ம எடுத்துக்க மாட்டோம். அவனுக்கு பதிலா கேஎல் எடுத்தேன்னா லைக் ஸ்ட்ரைக் ரேட் அவங்களோட சிமிலரா தான் இருக்கு. மேபி அங்க ஒரு
வேணாம்ப்பா
ஒரு கண்ணு
வேணாம்.
போடலாம்.
வேணவே வேணாம்.
Right.
வேணவே வேணாம்.
So yeah, I think
இல்ல நான் என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, இப்போ லைக் நீ வந்து மும்பை எஸ்ஆர்ஹெச் பார்த்தனா அவங்களோட கோர் டீமே ஆல்ரெடி ஒரு வேர்ல்ட் கிளாஸா இருக்கு. நம்மளோட கோர் டீமை பார்த்தா அந்த கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் வர மாட்டேங்கிறது. So if
ஆமா
you spend like
கரெக்ட்
70
அதான்
70 if you spend 70-75 crores on retaining this core team, which is not in my opinion like the best of the best, you have just 45 crores to get whatever you to salvage whatever you have in
இல்ல
45 crores.
தோனிக்கு we are
How
going to
many
give only 4
world class
crores.
players do you think will come? That's my point. That's the point I wanted to make since the beginning.
அது I understand. See, இப்ப தோனிக்கு we are giving only 4 crores. So அதுவே we are saving around 10 crores compared to SRH. So we are going to retain the same number of players as SRH, but we'll have more 10 crores more. But I understand that they have 5 quality players, and probably we have in 5 players we have 2 players in there like much they are much older அப்படின்னு வச்சுக்கலாமே. So quality in Pata probably you can say Patirana, Ruturaj, and you can even add Dubey because he is there in the current international setup. Jaddu's obviously quality, but he's old. And Dhoni is obviously in his retiring age. So அப்படி இருக்கச்ச I understand. With regards to getting quality players with the remaining first, we can definitely get around 4 to 5 players for around 5 crores. So அப்படி எடுத்தா கூட இப்போ நான் 4 players if I'm getting for 5 crores. And I spend around 20 crores. So 65 plus 25, I spend around 85 or even let's say 90 crores for around 9 players who are going to be in my playing 11 for most of my games. So நீ அப்படி பாரு. So if you look at our team, we are going to have 9 players in our playing 11. And in the 5 players, 3 players are current international players, the players we are retaining. Only Jadeja, who's still in our ODI team, and Dhoni, who's probably in his retiring age. We'll probably be adding 4 more players who are well versed in their international setup and well established players. So அப்படி இருக்கச்ச I think we don't need to panic is what I feel because we are not like a team which finished ninth or 10th in the last year or like subsequent years plus struggling team நம்மள சொல்ல முடியாது because we have won in 2023 with a decent team and last team we showed promise. We obviously made a few blunders, but we can correct that in this option தான் எனக்கு தோணுது. If we still retain 5 players including Dhoni, that's just my point.
Yeah, right. So those are the thoughts. நம்ம வந்து ஐபிஎல் ரிட்டன்ஷன் பற்றி இன்னும் எக்ஸ்டென்சிவ் வீடியோ ஆஃப்டர் ஆல் த டீம்ஸ் ஹவ் ரிலீஸ்ட் திருப்பி இன்னொரு வீடியோ நம்ம ஒன்று போடுவோம். அதில் இன்னும் டீட்டெயில்டாக இதே மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபுல் செக்மெண்ட் ஃபார் ஐபிஎல் அண்ட் ஐபிஎல் ரிட்டன்ஷன்ஸ் பற்றி நம்ம பேசுவோம். ஸோ
We'll try to
பை
cover
தட்
up
ஐ
all the teams.
ம்
I think next
ம்
time
ஆமாம்
when we
ஆல் த
do the
டீம்ஸ் எஸ் எஸ் எஸ்
podcast, we'll ensure that we
Will I
cover
have the
all the
opportunity
teams.
to return again?
எஸ் எஸ் நீ தான் வந்து மெயின் கை. ஸோ யா ஸோ தட் பீங் செட் ஐ திங்க் திஸ் அ ரேப் ஆன் திஸ் செஷன். ஸோ
Wrap up. Wrap
we'll be
na.
back with wrap. Yeah,
Okay.
WRAP wrap on this
Wrap
session.
up.
So wrap up. Yeah, we're wrapping up this session. So yeah, thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for more cricket and football and F1 related videos too. Yeah, so that's it from our guys. Thank you guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye guys.